Hello and good morning. My name is Antranette Forbes, and I am the Economic Development Director for the City of St. Cloud. Welcome to today's webinar titled St. Cloud Works, a discussion on our current and future labor force market. Joining us today is Frank Jones, the Economic Development Liaison for CareerSource Central Florida. St. Cloud is the center place for life, and that's our brand. It represents our commitment to provide a great place for families and businesses. Our 5-year strategic plan reads that St. Cloud intends to create economic prosperity by diversifying industries, investing in workforce development, and promoting destination locations. The City of St. Cloud is perfectly positioned in Central Florida to grow economically and attract businesses. Being the city conveniently located between major Central Florida economic, technological, transportation, and tourism hubs, the city intends to develop economic strategies to accomplish the following objectives. Ensure goods and services are available to meet current and future population demands. Number 2, assist businesses seeking to boost productivity and workforce. And 3, foster and establish partnerships with local and regional organizations that can expedite planning and business development. St. Cloud is located 11 miles east of Kissimmee's 900-acre airport, which provides exceptional service to business and leisure travelers. St. Cloud is approximately 9 miles from Central Florida's first commuter rail transit system. SunRail is a $615 million investment that stretches almost 49 miles from DeBerry to Ponciana, passing through major economic and commercial hubs. The core of Central Florida's region is its unmatched infrastructure and strong roadways, providing invaluable connectivity to businesses. What's new in St. Cloud? With St. Cloud's rapid expansion, we recognize the importance of helping business owners navigate through the city's processes for starting a business. The Business Startup Guide was developed with information on starting your business, helping choose a location, what to expect of the city's development process, and lastly, what licenses and/or city permits are needed to operate your business. Our monthly business attraction newsletter highlights information and developments that are crucial to your determination of St. Cloud as your business destination. Each month, subject matters include international trade, local vendor preference, commercial rental tax rates, and zoning ordinance updates. St. Cloud is more than just a place to rest your head. Events such as the Downtown Monthly Market, Culinary Bicycle Tour, Budweiser Clydesdale Parade, and our annual Jazz Fest are drawing record numbers of vendors and patrons. Our up-and-coming nightlife offers residents and visitors great amenities for families for the perfect date night. In 2021, the City Council passed an ordinance amendment creating an entertainment district in the downtown area, which allows for the outdoor consumption of alcohol. Our city, through the Community Redevelopment Agency, also known as the CRA, encourages collaboration with local business and property owners to promote community buy-in and participation, creating long-term equity with residents and businesses. It is through these partnerships, accomplished engagement, and investment in programs and activities that support increased usage of the CRA districts. Our combination of natural beauty, accessibility, ecotourism, high job growth, and home ownership rates demonstrates our commitment to a great city and diverse economy. Our brand story tells it best. For businesses looking to put down roots, St. Cloud means a prime location with the resources and amenities needed to drive growth. Here, established businesses share walls with up-and-comers and value community over competition. It's just our nature. Again, my name is Antranette Forbes, Economic Development Director. Should you have any questions about today's presentation or would like more information about the business community in St. Cloud, feel free to reach me at the phone number or email listed on the slide. Now, I'd like to introduce Frank Jones, Economic Development Liaison for CareerSource Central Florida. CareerSource Central Florida is the direct service provider for various workforce programs which are fully supported by the U.S. Department of Labor, Health and Human Services, and Agriculture as part of awards totaling $42 million. CareerSource curates local talent for high demand industries, meeting local business needs and cultivating growth and prosperity for the Central Florida community. Whether through job placement, training, and certification programs, or higher education, they partner with Central Florida businesses, colleges, and universities to meet industry needs and connect career seekers to local opportunities. Frank, take it away.
Thank you so much, Antranette. That was a wonderful introduction. You went over most of my information, but yes, I am with CareerSource Central Florida Economic Development Liaison. Our mission is right there at the top. We connect Central Floridians to careers and we develop skilled talent for businesses. We have 5 different office locations throughout the region. We operate in Orange, Osceola, Lake, Seminole, and Sumter counties. And as Antranette said, we currently are administering $42 million worth of funds to help to connect Central Floridians to businesses in the region. I've been with the organization for about 5 years now, and it has just exploded as far as the help we're able to provide both for job seekers as well as for businesses in the region. I just wanted to go over a couple of kind of really key and important points for St. Cloud and the Osceola County. And if you'll go to the next slide, Antranette. Just want to highlight unemployment in the region right now. As we all know, COVID-19 really displaced, millions and millions of people from their places of business. We've really bounced back, and Florida has been the leader in doing so. You can see there that the number of people unemployed has dropped dramatically. Osceola County is really kind of, leading the 5-county region as far as getting people back to work. St. Cloud in particular, average age is 35 years old. The average age for the people living in St. Cloud is very low as compared to the rest of Florida. You can see there that the unemployment rate is actually lower than currently what it is in the U.S. for 2022. And this report was pulled in December. So, new numbers have come out recently, but the U.S.'s unemployment rate for 2022 is 3.5%, whereas Osceola County was all the way down to 2.8%. We're really seeing a lot of people who are looking for talent that it's kind of difficult to find right now. We've really got to go non-traditionally as far as who we're looking at to get employed in these positions. We need to kind of open up our minds, and if you'll go to the next slide, we'll go into the unemployed and unengaged, who those people are. Currently, we've got about 1,337 workers currently unemployed in Osceola County. When you look at it, that is not very many people. And so you've got to look at really what are some alternative ways that we can bring people into our businesses, opening up our minds to maybe those who have been just as involved in the past. Maybe we talk about bringing on interns who may not have all the skills or all the necessary education requirements that we're looking at in order to get them trained up so that they can do these types of positions. This slide kind of goes into who were the people who were kind of affected the most by COVID. Your administrative support, waste management, accommodation, food services. A lot of the positions here you're looking at are going to be either trade, transportation, warehousing, construction. A lot of people were laid off from Disney, as we know, the largest employer in the state. Those people have either gone on to other fields, other employers, or they've returned back to work. Disney right now is on a hiring spree. Regardless of what you're looking at in the news with people being laid off, primarily the people that are being laid off at Disney are going to be your higher administrative level folks, your senior HR people that have been there for 25 years, but they are desperately in need of hourly workers. Some of the demographics that were most impacted by COVID, of course, we know that minorities We're highly represented in laid off sectors. We've got young people who kind of delayed starting their first job, whether it's straight out of high school, still in high school, or straight out of college. And then, of course, the people who probably honestly will not return to work unless something drastic happens, either at the federal level or if businesses start taking into account that there needs to be something done about childcare in this country. Women who have children at home and saw what happened during COVID, where they had to kind of give up their careers in order to stay at home to raise their kids, to make sure that they were doing all of their educational requirements. And it just never really made sense for them to go back to work, since we don't know if this will happen again. Antranette, if you go to the next slide, we'll talk about some of the workforce characteristics in St. Cloud specifically on the next slide. So you'll see here that population growth in St. Cloud has been really off the charts. I think I saw something today saying 60 something percent growth in population for St. Cloud as a region. We see that kind of throughout Florida right now. We see Orlando getting a ton of people. Osceola primarily is getting the largest amount of people being moved into it right now, and that includes St. Cloud, like Nona, so on and so forth. You've got a really, really good amount of younger workers here, which gives a lot of opportunity for opportunities to maybe retrain or reskill or upskill folks. Career Source Central Florida does have different programs to help with that. We have people who, they were in the hospitality field and they saw what happened during COVID, and they said, I don't feel secure going back into the hospitality field. Maybe it would be best for me to retrain or reskill. And we've been assisting with that. A lot of the folks who were laid off have gone on to enter the IT field, or maybe something more in an office setting. You do not have a huge number of people retiring soon, as opposed to the rest of the region. And then your racial diversity, of course, I think is one of the top in the state. If you'll go on to the next slide, we can talk about the education of the region and how it kind of looks. 91.4% have a high school diploma or higher, which is top of the region. You've got a high school diploma, some post-secondary. You've got a few who have associates or bachelor's degree, but really you're going to look mostly at those people who have some college but not necessarily a degree, or those who have a 2-year degree. That's going to be a major portion of the folks who, maybe they just need a short-term training in order to get into something like CNC or machining or welding, or any one of hundreds of other jobs that could show up in the region that need skilled talent. As far as the jobs outlook go, if you go to the next slide, Antranette. So just an industry snapshot, you'll see that the main positions that are opening up in St. Cloud are going to be your healthcare, your social assistance type of positions, of course, your hospitality jobs, accommodations, food service. You see kind of a wide range of different positions that are opening up in St. Cloud, but the majority is going to be in that healthcare field. Maybe you have folks who were in college, they weren't able to finish their position. Maybe they need some training in order to become, say, a CNA or an LPN. That's something that CareerSource would be able to assist with short-term trainings. Alternatively, we can work with businesses in order to create apprenticeships. Apprenticeships are a wonderful way in order to upskill people who, may not necessarily have everything needed. If you'll go on to the next slide, Antranette. This just kind of goes into job growth for different industries. You'll see here healthcare still top, and then you've got your transportation. A lot of businesses. I mean, now you're looking at tons of businesses that need transportation. So they make a good, or they they need to move it. The number of drivers in this country has fallen dramatically. And so a lot of companies are saying, hey, maybe we do our own thing. Maybe we do local deliveries through our own means. If you go to the next slide, Antranette. So now we're going to be talking about projected growth as far as Osceola County. So top 25 occupations. You can see there that, I mean, retail salesperson, of course, fast food counter workers, cashiers, waiters, waitresses. These are jobs that are always going to be in demand. These are always going to be on the upswing. But then if you look a little further down, you can see things like registered nurses. You can see things like, registered nurses. You definitely see a huge need for registered nurses, but you need all the support positions underneath of them as well. Like I said, CNAs, LPNs, all the different support positions that come with medical. You've got, people who draw blood. You've got medical laboratory workers. It's really projected to kind of explode between 2023 and 2026. As far as the number of the number of positions that are increasing in the region. If you go to the next slide. So if you look at unique job postings and advertised wage, a couple of years ago before COVID, if you're looking at advertised wage there at $17.05 per hour. A couple of years before COVID, I think we were averaging somewhere around $14 per hour. I don't want to get into, what that did to inflation and everything, but we are seeing a major jump as far as advertised wage goes. And this is advertised wage. And so when people who are kind of in the midpoint of their career are going in and negotiating for their pay rate, you're looking at people who are asking for a lot more than they were even just 3-4 years ago. If you go to the next slide, Antranette. So here you'll see some of the top companies and what they've been posting. Employflorida.com is the state's website in order to post your positions. It's all completely free, and Career Source Central Florida is the one who administers that site. So we can help with any sort of support you may need with posting positions on there. But here you'll see Orlando Health is posting for registered nurses. And top industries right there, you'll see healthcare, social assistance, 1,021 unique postings in the last 12 months just for St. Cloud. Retail trade is the next one as far as industry goes, but I just want to kind of highlight those top job titles: registered nurses, medical assistants, licensed practical nurses. Those are 3 of the top 5. School district of Osceola County, they are constantly looking for teachers, teacher assistants. Educational services is one of the top 5 industries as well. I did have some more kind of insights as far as the future state of workforce. I wanted to get into how do we talk to these folks who are looking to onboard with us? How do we stand out from the crowd? Really, you've got 5 different areas that we've done research on along with Lightcast to kind of highlight how do we engage these folks who are unengaged. So number 1, always going to be compensation and experience. Now remember, compensation isn't going to be everything. It is important though, and candidates often cite it as the main factor when deciding to apply. But you've also got to think, what's my company culture? What is going to make me stand out from all these other businesses that have a massive need for these folks? How am I going to look if people are going on Glassdoor and posting negative reviews of my business? How do I engage with my current workforce to see where are we doing things right? Where are we doing things wrong? How can we change? How can we do better? And another big one is career progression. When employees don't feel like they have a next logical step, they're gonna be a little bit wary. They're gonna start looking elsewhere into other positions. If you create a career progression map that you can actually present to a potential employee during the interview process to say, hey, this is what we've created so far, and this is what we think would be, you're going to start here. This is going to be your next step. After some training, after a few additional years, you can get to be, a VP within the company. People really appreciate something like that, like a career progression map or ladder. Another thing, we've got to talk about ownership and control of your own kind of day to day. How am I doing my job? Am I being constantly micromanaged? Am I having a manager stand over my shoulder for 8 hours a day, making sure I'm doing the right thing? You really need to create a culture that allows for flexibility as well as personal accountability for the work that's being performed. Also, when that work is performed at a high level, we need to talk about value and contribution. So if an employee is standing far and above, you need to recognize that. You need to reach out and say, hey, you're doing a wonderful job. I want to recognize you for going above and beyond. It's really important that team members are appreciated and seen when they do a great job. Now, in talking about attracting younger talent, this is folks who are getting right out of high school and ready to enter the workforce, as well as those who are getting out of college. Maybe your position does require a bachelor's degree, but it also requires 1 or 2 years of experience. If you're struggling to bring people on board that have all of the requirements for your position, it's time to start thinking outside of the box. Maybe we create something like an internship or an apprenticeship where we bring somebody on board, we have them try out the position. We see where they can fit within the organization, and we build them up to be a valuable member of the team. And really, that's just a few, really high level kind of plot points to talk about when you're talking about the future state of workforce. We know that there's going to be really some deficits when it comes to available talent. And so thinking outside the box is going to help with bringing on board those folks that you're really needing right now. That's all I have for my presentation at this point. I just want to say thank you so much for letting me present Antranette. I hope what I said was helpful, and if you've got any questions, you can definitely reach out to me.
Thanks, Frank. That was a really good presentation. I think it provided a little more insight as far as where St. Cloud is from our economic standpoint and our labor force. We do have a couple of questions, so if you're ready, I can shoot them off to you.
Absolutely.
Okay, and some of them I think you alluded to, so it may just be more of an elaboration. But one of them is, I'm a small business owner. How can Career Source help me find local talent?
And so I would say the first thing is that we would come out and do a consultation with you to see exactly what you're looking for. With Career Source Central Florida, you have a business consultant that's going to be assigned to you specifically. So you're not going to be bounced around to a bunch of different people. Somebody's going to come out, they're going to listen to your needs, and they're going to craft a plan with you in order to bring folks on board. And whether that's one person that you've been looking for the last 6 months, or if it's, let's say, 15 people that you need, in as quickly as possible. We can either do pre-screening for you where we locate the talent that you've been looking for. We do a pre-screening, we send over the resume, and then you let us know, hey, this seems like a great person to bring on board. Great, glad that we could help you. Let us know when they start, and that's how we are able to show our value really to the state. If it's 15 people, maybe it's a hiring event that you need. We can set something up like that where you can bring some of your hiring team into one of our offices, or we can hold it at your location, and we advertise an event for a couple of weeks and really drive traffic to help you do multiple interviews back to back.
Nice. And I think if I heard you correctly, these services are provided at no cost.
That is correct. Yeah, there's no cost for any of our services. And we do have a couple of programs where we can help offset some of the training costs for bringing people on board, provided certain criteria are met.
Another question reads that Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm trying to make sure I understood it correctly. My busy season is coming up. What if I only need part-time help for the summer?
That's totally fine. We work with full-time, 40-hour-a-week positions all the way to, maybe temp jobs. As long as your job is a W-2 employee that you're looking to bring on board, even if it's only for, 3 months, we can help with that.
And if I recall, I think CareerSource also has a summer internship program.
We do. Yeah. So we're currently recruiting youth right now who are going to be out of school for the summer, between 16 and 19 years old, in order to do a 4-week internship with certain local businesses. If you're interested in that, I can get you information for our summer youth team as well.
Excellent. The next question is, what about veterans? Um, I, okay, so I think that's in relation to if you specifically like to maybe hire veterans.
Sure. So, yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, and I should have brought it up during the presentation. But veterans are priority for us. So, any veteran that comes into our location gets priority of service, meaning they get seen first. We actually have a specific team that includes local veterans employment representatives who can help to connect these vets to open positions. And so if you were to request, I want to hire veterans specifically, we would bring out a business consultant as well as that veterans employment rep to meet with you to determine your needs.
Excellent. I don't know if you know, but St. Cloud does have a moniker of being the Soldier City. So
I
we
did
do
read
have an
about that.
affinity for our veterans. I don't see any other questions. So if there are any questions, feel free to submit them to economic development at stcloudfl.gov, and we'll be more than happy to answer them. I want to thank you, Frank, for taking this time out with us to tell us about some of the great programs CareerSource has, and also give us some insight as far as where St. Cloud is and the bounce back that we've done as far as our labor force from COVID. It's been really informative.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on Antranette. Really glad to share any other insights you may have any questions on.
Excellent. So with that, I hope you and our audience have a great day.
Thank you so much.